You got arrested on the way here from a
Yeah.
German cop.
Yeah, I got arrested. I got arrested by a cop on the highway, and he was just a asshole to me, and really, like I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak German, but I can speak English, and he kept speaking German to me, which made it a bit harder.
I think
Well,
it's a strategic
Yeah,
maneuver.
probably.
Hey, I met you in Mexico for the first time 4 years ago, and we didn't even speak a single word during the event.
No, why would we speak?
You're French and
were-
you hang out with the French people. I was the only
Yeah.
German-speaking guy there. But yeah,
Were you the only German-speaking guy there?
back in the days, yes,
Hmm.
I was the only invasive Austrian guy who made it to Mexico. And actually, we just like met on the airport for the first time. And yeah,
On the way out.
on the way out, I
With
think this was
French.
our first like
Mhm.
dialogue, and I saw, okay, this guy can speak English too. So yeah, and then somehow a beautiful friendship
Mhm.
began to grow.
A long-distance friendship.
Yeah, but now, like, since last year, I consider myself more a French rider than an Austrian rider, because your scene you built around your little hometown, you're near Geneva, is Genf, is like a crazy place. It's like the riding, the people, everything is like insane, and I really fell in love with the French riding culture, and this is something we don't really have here in Austria, in my opinion. We don't have this like kind of bond of riders. Everyone is doing their own thing. Not many people are motivated to build tracks or like build a backyard like you do. So everyone is kind of on his own mission. And yeah, and I'm really looking forward to see all the French guys again at your like jam. Why do you think is the French community such a tight, like, brotherhood kind of?
I don't know. Well, I think it's a bit the same in French. Like in France, everybody has his own mission as well. But maybe it's easier in France to dig illegal spot, or maybe make legal spot, which is growing as well. And yeah, everybody kind of has his own spot, but not many people are sharing it, or not many people are doing their spot thinking about other people riding their spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and when I started having this small event, I was like, yeah, let's share it. And then from the second year on, I was like, okay, let's make the spot bigger, but not for me, just for the event, because for me it's just way too much work to maintain shape and like make it for my own, you know.
Dude, I have
It's-
one jump in my backyard and it's too much for me to maintain. So I feel you.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
did the project like Alchemy, like the spot is called Alchemy,
The spot is called Le Labo.
Le Labo?
Yeah, it comes from a friend. It's like a lab where you make your experiences, you know.
When did you start this project?
So I started it when I came back from New Zealand, when I did my PVT. My PVT, it's in French. Working holiday visa there 6 years ago. So the spot is 5 years old, and it grew every year, except this year. This year we're not doing anything else because the field is stacked full of dirt of germs.
For the listener, it's like a it's like a crazy private backyard spot. It's like you have the main jump line on the right side with a crazy high starting tower,
Mm-hmm.
which I always get a bit nervous just climbing up.
Everybody is.
And the most nervous thing for me is like the French people. You shout like "I'm coming" and you don't hear anything. And
Yeah, because some lines are crossing.
yeah, and
Not like
you
not
drop
all of
in
them.
and yeah, maybe someone is coming up the ladder and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like yeah, but you have the main line on the right. It's now 1, 2, 3, 4
Yeah, it's 4 jumps.
4 jumps, but 4 proper jumps.
Mm.
Then you have the very left line, which is actually the biggest line.
Mm.
It's a big double, which is beautiful to case.
Yeah, the story behind this is that I just wanted a big trick jump, like the biggest I could get with the speed I have on this spot. And the only way I could build this jump was to have 2 super long, as big as possible, speed jump to get speed to go through the end of the spot and just have this big double there.
What's the size of the ramp?
High,
The height, yeah.
4 meter, I would say.
Hallelujah.
But maybe a bit less now, 3 point something, but close to 4. But we will make it a bit smaller this year because it's too big for the speed we have, and the landing is getting a bit too short to be safe. So we just make it like we just make the line tiled.
And then you have like the middle line with a super nice hip and like your famous 360 drop setup, which is in my opinion super sketchy to do 360s because it's like a mulch landing. And on the like,
There is no
if you
mulch
crash, you land like not in the mulch anymore.
Yeah, there is like 1 bike length and a half landing long, and then it's flat. It's not perfect, but back then the drop was a bit smaller, not as high, so it was good to learn. And since I learned, I was like, okay, let's make it a bit bigger, and now it's too big to learn 360 drops on. You need to make sure you land it.
Hey, you're one of the most skilled riders. I wouldn't say talented because like I think this is a lot of work, and talent is always like, if you say someone is talented, people think, oh, okay, it comes easy to them. But you're like one of the most skilled riders I personally know. Like insane Superman seat grabs, insane flat spins, everything. You spin hips, you spin big jumps, like, and you're always my go-to guy when I'm a bit nervous and not sure if I can do it. You're like, yeah, you can do it, easy. And how did it escalate in this kind of riding? Because like it's like, dude, you suicided the famous Tour de France gap from
Dave Watson.
Dave Watson. Like you've been on the cover of all the French magazines. How did you start your riding career? And like more specific, how did you go into like this kind of big air events? Because it's like a bit harder.
Well, first, thank you very much for having such a good picture of me. I don't have the same because I'm also riding with super talented rider and skill rider that I think they're killing it as well. So, but yeah, it's super. Yeah, I don't know what to say about those compliments. It's super nice, but yeah. To start with, I think I always had something with skiing and biking and stuff like that. And when I realized that you could do such big jumps and such big tricks on a bike, I just started it. But at the same time, I didn't ever thought about making a living out of it. So it was just like a hobby, I would say. And I was doing it while I was studying and stuff like that, and never went into a club, never had anybody to teach me anything. We were just hype with my friends, and we were seeing videos and like, oh, this guy can do it, maybe we can try to do it, and just like this is how we learned. And yeah, I was super hyped already back then to have help from a few companies, like a helmet here, a frame there, and for me it was like completely enough because I never thought I could do any better. And then Châtel Mountain Style happened. It was back then super nice freeride big mountain event.
On Le Face.
Yeah, the face. Yeah, so good. So I did it 3 times in a row, and it's pretty funny because I wasn't even 18 back then, and I don't know how. Maybe they didn't knew because you were supposed to be 18 to do it, so I kind of sneaked in. And yeah, it got me super hyped on. It was the first big jumps I did, but I felt comfortable doing it. So I don't know, I had something with this probably. And which I liked a lot with in this event is that you had super steep, rocky, scary stuff and big jumps in between. So it's a bit of, yeah, it's the hard line, but I honestly think hard line is easier than what it was back
Really?
then. Yeah. I don't know the one in Wales, but from what I've seen from Australia, it's like flow trail with big jump, techie, I would say. Like it's still a super nice event outline, and I think it can bring some super good stuff to mountain biking. But yeah, in shuttle you choose your line, so you choose how hard you wanna go. But still, it was crazy.
When I did a road trip to France, like it was one of the very first road trips to Châtel. Everything was like super closed, like, and we went to the face, and a quad bike came up and was like, "Ah, go away," or we take your lift pass or something.
Okay.
And there was like just this big step down, and and then on one of the last days, I decided to hit it, and it was like super stressful. I sneaked up, put away
Mm-hmm.
the crossings for not riding it. Actually, super stupid. It was strong wind,
This is stupid.
and I went for it. And yeah, and dude, I don't know how big this drop was or this starting gap, but I landed in the very last section of the landing, and it was like a near death experience. And then
Everybody is going too big on this one.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
bit too
it's
fast.
only 2 pedal stroke.
And I was like sprinting, like don't case this shit. And yeah, I lost my lift pass, but it was okay because it was one of the last days. But this event was crazy. This was like Bisset's prime time. Bisset won it
Yeah,
one time, eh?
no, he didn't want it. So, which was good with this event is that there were amateur category and a pro category, and I was in the amateur category, which I won the last year,
Really, you
2012.
won it?
Yeah, and then I was supposed to go in final with the pros, but then the final didn't happen because of the rain. And I think this year, maybe this year Bizet did second, or maybe the year before, 2011. And yeah, it was they were doing big flips and big drops, and
It was like a new thing. Like
yeah,
you saw.
but
It
I
was
think the phase how you knew it was already different than what it was back then, because it has been reshaped for some video projects and stuff that happened in Chateau. It was still a bit more freeride with more wooden drops, and it was really raw. Like you couldn't ride it as it is in Utah, because in Utah it's super easy to dig. There it's super hard. But then you have like 3 or 4 lines that you can choose, and it's really raw. Like the jumps are super well made, but in between the jumps it's sketchy.
the French way.
Yeah.
You traveled all over the world riding bikes, like Australia, New Zealand, USA, Canada,
Mexico.
Mexico. Viva la Mexico. Shoutouts to Johnny. Yeah, can you like which country stuck the most to you riding wise? Was it Utah?
Mm. Now, if I have to choose something, I would choose New Zealand for sure, Queenstown, because there is everything there, and you can access everything without a car, and the community is super big, and they're doing it super smart, super inclusive for everybody. Like there are like the Dreamline is the biggest set of jumps in the world, and it's public. You know, you can ride it for free. You don't even have to take the license to the club or anything. You know. So yeah, Queenstown is super good, but then it depends what you want to do, and like what's your kind of riding as well. If you really want to do only free riding, big mountain stuff, of course Utah is the best place to go. And yeah,
You did like a huge kind of trip. You went to Utah first,
Canada first. Yeah, this winter.
Canada first.
Yeah, I went to see a friend in Canada, so he was living in Squamish. So we did a bit of Whistler, Kamloops, and Peaks, and Squamish as well, which was super good. But I have to say that it's not what it used to be. I
Why?
have the feeling, especially Whistler, it's not in such a good shape anymore, I would say. And they're a bit surfing on their wave. But Kamloops, we spend sometimes in Kamloops, and Sun Peaks, so good, super good. And it's funny, like it's really how you see in videos, like you're in the middle of the forest and then out of nowhere there is the super sick set of jumps, super well shaped with everything, fire and everything, and you're like, okay, wow, they're really dedicated there. So yeah, Canada, then Utah. It was my first time in Utah, and it was even better than I expected it, and it fit my vision and my riding as good as I expected it. Like, yeah, it's like skiing. Like you go wherever you want on wherever slope or ridge you want, and
How is the grip? I always wonder how the how
so
much traction you get there.
Virgin is good. It's changing kind of, because sometimes it's a bit hard and sometimes it's a bit softer, but overall it's super good. It's for what it is, like it's a bit rough. Yeah, you have everything, flat section, steep section, it's a bit rough and it's a bit changing, but it's, for me, it was super natural to be there and quite easy to read. And yeah, the grip, we couldn't, like we were there just to discover and see how it is. So we didn't had proper tools, we didn't had that much water, which forced us to ride what was in good shape or to go with people that had water and ride what they were watering. But when you water a jump and slap it a bit, then it's hard packed and perfectly ready to go, and that's why they can build some super square stuff, super nice looking stuff. Because the dirt is really unique, I think. But then we went to Green River and Big Water, which is like way more raw, where you can still build. But for me, Green River was insane. Like you have, I don't know, 400 elevation faces that you hike up and then charge down, and you can go wherever you want. Really, like soft. It's like powder day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really different. Really different than Virgin and more exposed, I would say. But yeah, it's really like powder day.
You've
You
been
can
there also.
carve, you can drift, you can do whatever you want.
You've been there to like a huge kind of jam in.
Yeah, so it was in the Hill Gang. It's a crew from American guys that are keeping freeride alive, I would say. And they do a big gathering in Green River on a public land. It's called the Green River Classic, and it's basically a 2 days jam session. Everybody does pretty much what they want, but they are building specific jumps and sessioning the jumps on specific time. So everybody can ride together, but if they don't want to, they can ride whatever they want beside that. And yeah, it's big party, big fire in the evening, everybody around the fire, fireworks. That's sketchy. I'm happy I didn't
American
lose an eye
fireworks.
there. Like yeah, the last evening we were like hiding our face kind of. It was like really popping from everywhere.
Like a fireworks war.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they're a bit harder to dig jumps, I think. The dirt is a bit more sticky and maybe it doesn't hold that good. as far as I've seen. But yeah, for free riding, you can just look at the mountain and be like, okay, I'm going there and do it.
And no big rocks or
Yes, super big rocks, but so big that you can see them and
okay.
anticipate and read the line you wanna read and watch. I think you can get used to it by practicing it, but it's super hard to ride the line for the first time because everything is blind. So even though it's steep, the smallest step you could have, it's blind after the step because you don't see, like, the steps hide the steepness behind it. And on ridges, you mainly ride on ridges, so it's super hard. You really have to take like checkpoints and know exactly where you have to go once you reach the checkpoint, kind of. So it's really hard to do. To ride fast on first try, it's super hard and risky.
I always wonder how this feeling is of going into this kind of powder and turning, and if
Yeah.
there's grip, if there's no grip. It looks like insane good grip kind of like plus minus 10 centimeters kind of, you carve in and like everything is like pushing outside and
Yeah,
it looks beautiful.
yeah, it's nice. I like it because it's steep there in Green River. We've been in Big Water, and a lot of people say Big Water dirt is better and the faces are nicer to ride, but I really prefer Green River. A bit different, but from the main lines we rode, big variety of terrain, super high speed, and a lot of things to think about. When in Big Water it was more like curvy, more slow, but maybe we haven't found the goods in Big Water. It's so big. And the sketchy thing in Big Water is that there is a public land right by a national park. So if you go in the national park, you can be really fucked, get a fine and everything.
Okay.
But there is no signs and there are no maps. Like, we found 2 maps that were different on where the national park is and where the public land is. So there are a lot of stories that I've been told, but since I haven't witnessed it myself, I can't say much. But apparently some people got some fine there.
And then afterwards you went half a year to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back there, pilgrimage.
You had like 2 months of non-stop riding with no rest day.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, I needed a overload of riding, so when I'm back home, I can focus on something else for a while.
Yeah, like fasting.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can use your fat storage. How is it like in New Zealand? You wake up, there's a session every Wednesday, every Friday, like a public session kind of. Like there's always some guy to ride with.
Yeah, Queenstown is so big, especially during the high season. Like, everybody is riding, and yeah, there is always someone to ride with.
When is the high season? Is it like November, December?
Yeah, it kind of starts November, December till February, March. But the community is getting bigger and bigger, and I would say high season is pretty much all year long now there. And there are some locals that are so motivated to ride all the time that it's, yeah, you can be alone there.
You spent some time with Garth.
Yeah, you know Garth.
No, I just saw him on Instagram, and I don't know why, but he seems like a fucking legend.
No, he's more than that. Yeah. One of the first, probably first day I was in Queenstown, I went up on Dreamline. I wanted to ride it so bad again, and then I met him and Alan, and it's like there is Garth, Alan, and Emerson. They're the 3, I would say, main guys on Dream, like always there pretty much every night. And Garth, he was there with a hardtail pivot, their jumper, that he glued some part on so it sticks together, it's not falling apart.
Glued?
Yeah, he glued. He really glued it. No joke. And then he was doing some flip cliffhangers on the step up, like crashing and never getting injured, nothing. Like he doesn't land the trick. He gets some bourbon and tries it again.
He gets some bourbon.
Yeah, he's insane. He's really like.
I
Yeah.
just saw him on Instagram, like doing this kind of crazy off-road driving,
Yeah.
kind of with his 4x4. And dude, this itself looks so sketchy what they do, where they're going with those cars.
Mhm.
Like the water is everywhere, the water is inside of the car, and like, yeah, then he takes a bucket and puts out the water again. So, yeah, seems like a bit of a loose community.
No, it's not loose
But the
as it
mentality is
means,
loose a bit,
but
yeah?
yeah, they just don't care. Like, yeah, it works, and if it doesn't work, it will work tomorrow. It's a bit like that. It's like, yeah, they're just they're just living. Like, yeah, and 4x4 is a big thing there. There are some proper roads, like routes. So yeah, they just go there and goes a bit off route, see if it goes there or not, and then they pull back each other. Yeah, it's a different mentality that we have in Europe with 4x4, and it's also one of the only way they have to reach some parts.
Mm.
So they're really used to it, and yeah, if it crash, it crash. If not, like on the bike. So yeah, Garth is insane, and he used to ride BMX, and he used to ride Dream Track on BMX and do like some double peg grab, and he had like 2 pegs on the back wheels of his BMX and doing like big cannonball double peg grab and back and stuff like that. Insane, really insane. Brakeless
Reckless.
on
A
Dream.
breakless.
Mm-hmm.
Reckless and breakless. How long you been to Queenstown? Most of the time of your
4
trip, huh?
months.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months.
And afterwards you did like a big road trip.
Yeah, 1 month of road trip with Ellen in a little caravan. Super good.
You bought it, huh?
Yeah, it's super popular to travel on the road with a van or whatever you can sleep in. And then we were looking for something convenient to travel with all of our stuff and 2 bikes, and somehow a bit different to sell when we were leaving, before we were leaving, because if you want to rent something for probably 4 months, it's like $5,000 or something like that. So before losing $5,000 on buying and selling, you have to be unlucky, I would say.
Mm.
So yeah, we bought this little caravan.
The egg.
Yeah, the egg. That was an experience. But no, it was super convenient and pretty cool to like unplug the car and drive around with the car and go back. Something when you have the van, you have to have everything super tidy inside every time you move. So no, it was good.
Tell me about the
Good.
opossums in New Zealand.
Possums.
Yeah,
So you want the long story or the short story?
I don't know the one which is funny.
The funny story. So possums are a pest in New Zealand. They've been introduced from Australia, I guess, back in the days, and they were doing farms to make clothes and stuff like that with the possum skin because it's super soft. And then this market dropped down, and they didn't know what to do with the possum, so they just released them in the nature. But since there is absolutely no predators in New Zealand, they grew super big and they eat all the eggs of all the birds in New Zealand, pretty much. And some birds are more at risks than others, and the Kiwis are super famous now because there's so less Kiwis, because most of the Kiwis got eaten by the possum. Most of the Kiwis are the Kiwis' eggs.
You told me like a kiwi gets like 2 eggs a year or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, a kiwi is like a stupid chicken in the wood, and if there were plenty, there would be like, yeah, okay. But know that they are like maybe less than, I don't know exactly, but not more than 1,000, I would say. I don't
Really?
remember. Yeah. There are really few kiwis now in New Zealand.
So they're gonna go extinct.
No, because the program, conservation program, is super big, and they are doing an insane work to protect them. And now they are regenerating. No, anyway, it's getting better for the Kiwis, but it will take time. Yeah, they're doing 2 big eggs a year, so it's not much to grow back the species. Yeah, and the possum are still probably eating a few of them here and there. So yeah, it's a pest. So they have like big regulation programs, which consist of traps, poisoning, hunting, and
Driving.
driving. Like
Roadkill.
the roads, there are like carpets of possums on the roads.
With soft
Yeah,
soft
it's
fuel.
so soft to drive on. Nah, yeah, it's like I don't know if they encourage people to run over possum if they have the opportunity to do so, but there are like really a lot of possums, dead possums, by the road in New Zealand because people just kill them with their car when they can.
So it's really
Mm.
like they hate those animals. Like, yeah, for sure they kill the national bird.
Yeah,
Like
it's not like they hate it. It's just that if they don't do anything, it will go out of control, and it's already out of control.
Mm.
And they have the same issues with rabbits, and they have the same issues with probably martas and other animals. So mm, yeah, it's super weird to think about it, but in a way, it's the same. Talking with the wolf in Europe or of the foxes or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and if we don't have wolves or foxes, then something else will get out of control.
Yeah. You had the honor to see a kiwi.
Yes.
Like you met a guy who lives 42 years or something in New Zealand and he's seen like
Yeah.
2 kiwis.
Yeah. Maybe he wasn't that much into seeing Kiwis, but
But he was a hunter, you told me.
we met a hunter that just killed a goat and had it for dinner with his kids on the campsite. It was pretty cool. And he told us that he only saw a kiwi 2 times in his life before. So, yeah, we were pretty lucky. And the next night we saw one, very briefly, because you can only see them at night. So you're supposed to go in the forest with a red lamp because they are not scared from red lights. But obviously we didn't had any red lamps, so we were just like lost in the forest, completely blind. And at some point I think I almost walk like step on one because I felt something with my foot and I heard like a chicken flying away. Yeah, exactly like that. And I was like, no way, they were a kiwi, and we didn't had the time to take our phone out of the pocket and use the lamp to see if it was one or not. So we were like, okay, let's stay here for a bit, and maybe if we hear something, we just light it up and see if it's one or not. And we waited like 5 to 10 minutes, and then we heard some noises close by, and lights on, it was a kiwi. But once you have the light on, you need to spot it because it's brown in brown leaves, and then he was running away, so you can't really observe it that good, but you see it. Check.
Check. Life goal. Now you're back. And now you're currently in Austria at Ellen's place, or Germany almost. And now you're back in France. What was the first mission? I saw you came back, and the next day I saw a story of you digging.
Yeah, it's
the
good to be
spot
back
already.
digging. The mission, yeah, being in New Zealand, I didn't dig that much. I dig a bit on Dream, but some friends had like super big missions, digging tracks and stuff in the woods, and I was more into like getting my overdose of riding there, and then it also opened my eyes that I want to ride maybe a bit less but better tracks, more creative, I don't know, faster, bigger, steeper, I don't, whatever better word I could use, but yeah, no, different stuff. And then yeah, I wanted to, because we already have a super nice network of trails, at home that just need to be a bit improved and dig back with open eyes to make it a bit, yeah, more spicy. So yeah, I'm on a big mission to make like yeah, before summer I would like to rebuild 3 to 4 tracks with my friend, and we already did one completely, which is now super nice, and we're working on 2 others. And sometimes it's not so big work, sometimes it's quite big works, but yeah, having something that is both a bit technical, a bit flowy, jumpy, to have it all. And
Do those home
yeah,
trails. I'm
you will
always
see.
thinking about them.
You will see.
It's crazy.
We're lucky enough to have like super good bases. We kind of um, rode it like it was, like raw, because the terrain was good enough to don't dig much to begin with. So we rode it like that for a year, and then we had the track, we had the lines, we had everything, and then we were like, okay, we need a berm here, a jump here, blah blah blah, and then we build it like that, and I have the feeling it's working super good because we corrected the mistakes we made, and now you just have to make the big work. Because yeah, what's interesting to say, I think, is that before that we had nothing to ride at my place, like absolutely nothing, and if I wanted to ride, it was either shitty gravel road or 1 hour and a half driving to get some proper tracks. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'd rather spend times digging than driving, and then it, yeah, with time you get to build some good stuff and have it like by your doorstep.
Crazy good stuff.
Yeah.
Like it blew me, like this one backyard trail you have on the backside of your house. The lomas, everything, the corners, the speed. It's wow. This is like flying through the roof. Yeah, it's like really mamma mia.
Yeah.
Hey, I have one specific question, because you are always one of those guys. Like when we are at an kind of an event with big jumps, you are always super calm, like almost too much. Like for me, it's like you're never nervous. You're never like I don't know. You're always super confident and straightforward, and you're also like you have one day of playing around and trying to figure out, and then the next day it's always kind of game day for you. Like you do the big tricks like instantly, kind of. How is your approach for, like your mental approach, also like going for those kind of events and jumps and doing new tricks? Is like because you do it so many times, like the repetition you do, or is it, how are you so calm doing like those big things? Like one thing which sucked to me the most, and I was a bit angry when I saw it, you did like the no hand landing on the loose fest jumps, and then your underwear got stuck in the rear wheel, and it was a wonderful butt shot at the end. But what the fuck is going on through your mind when you like think about those things?
Well, we all have days in and days off, you know. And for example, Loose Fest last year, I really felt like I had a week off. And I think it was because of my approach. Usually, when I go to an event and it goes good, I don't have any expectation at all. I'm just like riding and seeing how I feel and building my stuff there. But before that, I usually feel good if I ride a lot before that, like knowing my skills, knowing where I'm at, and knowing that I can handle a big impact, and knowing I can do a big flip or do a big flatty or whatever. I really need to ride a lot before that. That's why I always felt not that good in Mexico, because it's in the middle of winter and I barely ride any jumps in winter. And going from skiing to or enduro riding to Mexico's biggest jumps. It's super hard for me.
Mm.
So I was never, and probably knowing it would be hard, I'm like putting expectation on this event to like fighting that it will be hard, and then I'm not having such a great time because I'm like trying to catch up with something I don't have yet, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Loose Fest was a bit like that, I think, because I had no expectation at all before the first day of riding, because I was like, it's the biggest jump line in the world, you know, like you can't have any expectation. And then it was so well built that I did 2 laps and already feeling comfortable on it, kind of. So I was like, oh, I could do this or I could do that. And then this no hand stuff got stuck in my mind for the whole week. And I was like trying to figure it out on the second jump.
How many meters?
Too much. Too many.
27, I think. It's 27 meters no hand landing. I think
Yeah.
it's the biggest no hand landing in.
Yeah, but it wasn't land.
Depends how you see it.
Yeah, this. Yeah, I had it in mind the whole week. So I didn't focus about anything else kind of on the line. And having it in mind, it's not good for your mind, you know, like you're always thinking about it. And I really like to be relaxed and do it like, if I feel it, I do it. And no, I had the feeling I kind of force it. And when I tried it, I definitely forced it. I was, I don't know, slightly short. It was the last day. I was like, oh, I'm not leaving without trying it, you know. And but which is funny with no hand landings is that it's scary till you do it. And when you do it, for me, it's not that scary because with the speed and how strong you can grab the saddle, if you don't mess it up, it's like you have the balance to ride it out, you know. And the faster it goes, the easier it is. But it's super hard, which it was hard as well there at Loose Fest, is that the landing were quite steep, like super good to ride. But to do a no hand landing, you have to land front heavy a bit. And it's a bit better. Like it's easier to do when you're not that front heavy.
Shout outs to the
So-
man himself for
To-
building those kind of jumps.
To the man.
To the man, Nico Wink.
Yeah, Nico and Alois did such a great job as well there. He did a lot of work this year. And everybody else, like Zeno, Red Belge, everybody were killing it. But yeah, preparation, I would say the more I ride before an event, the better it is. And the less expectation I have, the better it is, because then you get your mind in the wrong position, being like, I want to do a flip there, but maybe the pop is not good, or maybe it's off axis and you don't see it on videos. And
I'm super talented in this kind of stuff. Like to get myself
yeah, I
In
think I
troubles.
saw that.
thinking about
Yeah.
stuff, getting nervous. I don't speak to anyone anymore. I'm like, yeah.
No, I think there is a difference between having expectation and preparing for something. Like if you want, I don't know, you go to an event and there is a big jump and you want to do a flat spin on it, then do a lot of flat spins before, and then you know where you are. And yeah, that's what I'm.
But for like
Trying to do.
the younger generation, how did you approach, like, do you do any mental training? Do you do anything, or do you just try to ride bikes as often as possible?
I think my mental training is to feel confident with riding. But I think it's super useful if you can find any sort of mental help, mental trainer or preparation, or like I don't have at all this competitive mindset, and for some people it's super helpful to have it, and when you don't have it, you need to find other ways to be motivated and do what you want to do.
Yeah, for me it's like always a super crazy situation. Like I go through, like I always call it the boys' retreat, kind of. Like if you remember Hugfest in Norway.
Hugfest.
Yeah, it's always for me. It's like I come there, look at the jumps, and I'm always like, oh, dude, I'm not sure if I can do it. And then suddenly, yeah, start feeling confident, and yeah, and then shit happens.
Nah, Hackfest was special for you. You had this mechanical, you had the
Yeah,
weather was not good. Like there were a lot of things playing.
and the most craziest. It was my first time in Norway actually, and I heard some stories about like the people going full redneck style on.
Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings, really Vikings go full redneck style on on Hugfest. And do you remember the one guy who tried to spit fire with like
Mm-hmm.
motor fuel? And I
Yeah.
think he held his breath for too long
He
with the motor
set
fuel.
himself on fire.
And he blew out and kept some fuel in his mouth and was like spitting again, and his whole face burned. And it was,
Yeah, that escalated
he wiped
quickly.
it out, and then he was like, fuck yeah. Then destroyed a caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, you go there again this year?
I wish I'm going. I'm not sure I'm going, but I would like to.
I would like to
Yeah,
also.
it's such a good place, such a good event.
Last year I decided not to go like at 4 a.m. in the morning. Actually waiting for the taxi to the airport. And it was 4 a.m. on the toilet, and I was like scrolling through Instagram. And then there was like this big news, like they're like completely flooded there. And then I was like, okay, no, I don't go. But you still went?
Yeah, that was crazy last year. Like such a weird situation. You go on a bike trip and then people are losing their houses. You're like, wow, that's wild.
Mm.
So yeah, we knew there were a big storm there. We still went. And when we landed in Oslo, the guys from Hugfest were like, "Oh, we have to delay the event. It's getting crazy there," which I completely understand. So we catched up with Macon and went to Hafjell, and we stayed in Hafjell and moved around, but it was it was not too bad, but it was still hard to be there and see everything flooded, and
Mm.
you don't want to be on holidays kind of when people are having a shitty time. So yeah.
Hey, what is happening after you? That's a crazy question. What's happening after you stop like being a pro rider, or you won't stop being a pro rider?
Right or die.
Ride or die. Okay.
Nah, yeah, I always I often think about it, and I always thought I would, for example, switch and work at the marketing at one of my sponsor or something like that. Um, but I learned the hard way that sponsors don't really give a shit about you, and if that they can, because they don't have budget or for any kind of reason, uh, they don't want you in the team anymore. It's not reliable to really think about that, except if you have a really, really strong relationship with the company. So,
You had some bad experiences in the past with that, huh?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah. But it's a, it's okay. It's a good way to learn stuff. You don't forget.
Mm. Loyalty is nothing in sponsoring.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's nothing anymore these days. Like when you're at the same bank company for 20 years and then they're trying to get even more money out of you, it's like you're like, okay, what the fuck.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm going to do because in France it's such a big thing to get a bike teacher. Like it's all in one you can be, with this degree, you can be a bike teacher, trainer, or guide. And with all the infrastructure we have at home, it's super nice, I think, to make use of it and share it with some more people that are willing to pay to get guided. And also the scene is growing at my place, so we have more and more kids asking to be teach how to ride bikes. And and with this growing thing at my place, we're also trying to grow public tracks, public bike parks, and stuff like that. And I'm trying to be involved in designing, building, and organizing new stuff bike-wise at my place.
How is it going?
It's surprisingly good.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't want to tell more
Okay.
because there is nothing done yet.
But is it super political?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's way too political for what it is.
Same here.
But no, it's getting there. We have some plans because there are some super sick lands or old ski resorts that just want to be still
Re-established, yeah.
yeah, and like people live there and still want to see people come to their place and still want to have their restaurant, have their hotel, have their stuff, you know. And I think biking is a super good way to bring people somewhere.
Yeah, especially at your place, huh?
Yeah, I would say pretty much everywhere if you understand what your region has to offer. Like, you can't, at my place, if I wanted, I could make the biggest tracks and the biggest jumps and whatever, you know, but it wouldn't make any sense. So we're trying to work with what we have.
You need flow trails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. There are so many enduro trails at my place that we want to build some flow trails. Yeah, this I don't have a crazy lifestyle, you know, so I don't care about making millions, and I just want to chill and do what makes me happy. And so, like, yeah, being a bike teacher, working here and there, having, I don't know, small businesses here and there, just enough to make what I want and maybe get things growing. It's good for me.
But the bike teacher, like, exam is super difficult, I heard, in France. In Austria, it's the complete opposite. You have to go like on a 3-day course during the weekend, and then you're like certificated like bike teacher or bike guide, kind of whatever. And at your place, it's like kind of more like a mountaineering exam. You have to do like crazy balancing shit. You have to do a lot of crazy stuff with the bike.
Yeah, so it's the federation that is organizing it, and so to get to these bike teacher courses that last 1 year.
1 year?
Yeah.
How many lessons, days you have to spend there?
So I was on the phone with the school. It's like, I think 600 hours of lessons plus 600 hours of internship, kind of. Something like that. I don't know exactly. I don't remember exactly, but it's quite long. It's so you can count 1 year for this. And so before that, to enter this formation, you need to go on an exam where there is like 3 disciplines. It's downhill, trial, maniability thing, and orientation.
Orientation?
Yeah, it's so stupid. It really makes no sense to have this as an exam. And so this time we were 130 people. Everybody has the downhill because it's so easy. Like, you could do it without even doing a practice lap on the track, and you would easily make it.
So downhill, you have like kind of a downhill race?
Yeah, it's a 1.5 minute long track, and so there is one guy setting up a time, and you have to not be too far from his time. And everybody does it, so it's way too easy. It doesn't make any sense to make it that easy. And then there is maniability, and this usually kicks out 50% of the people.
Is it like trial stuff?
Yeah, trial.
Trial.
Yeah, it's not super hard trial stuff, but some can be tricky. So you have to be a bit prepared and focused, and also you don't have a second chance, which is stupid. For example, what I think stupid is that downhill you have 2 laps. So if you're not fast enough on the first lap, you do another lap, and downhill is already super easy. I think this time 3 people did the second lap, like so crazy. And with the maniability, it's one shot. Like you have a look at where you have to go by foot, and then you do it. And you have on 10 zones, you can fail on 3. So it means that you have to make out of 7 zones, which is
You did it?
Yeah.
You had
made it.
Yeah. Or you did all 10, or did you fail something?
No, I failed 3 times, but I failed because I lost focus, because I knew I made it.
Okay.
I was like, let's make it, and I
The
made
classic.
it. I made it through zones I was sure I wouldn't made it, and I was like, okay, fuck it.
But
I
this is
go
like
for it.
riding skinnies, or what
Yeah,
is
there
it?
was one skinny, so there were like natural zones where you have to hop over rocks and do super tight turns and pedaling uphill super slow and stuff like that. And there were artificial zone with wooden stuff and same super tight stuff, and it was a bit rainy, a bit slippery, and yeah, I made it through wooden sticks and stuff. I was like, wow. And I, like, in 10-15 years of biking, I never ever did trials in my life.
They don't ask for big 360 drops and nothing
No,
like
that
this.
sucks. That sucks. Your trainer sucks.
And what's up with the what is
Orientation.
the orientation thing? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most crazy thing. So you have a map, and they draw a route on the map, and you have to follow this route. You have the map and a boussole, a compass.
Oh yeah. Boussole is the French word
Yeah.
for compass. Boussole.
Une
Ah,
boussole.
you learn.
And so you have a time to go through as well. So if you're out of the time, you're out, like you don't pass. And you have 4 checkpoints on site that you can't see on the map, so you don't know where the checkpoints are, and you you write down that you've been there, so it shows that you've been following this route.
Yeah.
Exactly. And usually this kicks out the 50% of the remaining people. So this time maybe it was probably a bit easy, because I've been told that more people than usual made it. But yeah, for me, I didn't felt it was that hard, because I'm also used to read a map and like try to find shoots and stuff like that on maps. So I kind of know how to do it. But yeah, for me it doesn't make any sense. Like, everybody has a GPS, everybody has something to relate on, and I think it would be much better to have it as a course and like learn how to read a map, learn how to draw a route on a map and stuff like that, than having to get through this formation with this skill already on you.
So from 120 riders, or what? How many riders?
130.
30 riders. So now we're at like 33 or something.
Yeah, I think this time it was maybe close to 50 people who made it,
Okay.
which is super good. But I know last year, after the maniability, there were only 20 people remaining.
Hallelujah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the DH didn't kick out anyone.
Nobody. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's strange.
And yeah, it's super strange, especially since this degree is for being a mountain bike guide, like mountain bike as wide as you can think about it, So You can be a teacher, guide, and trainer, as I said, but it's on mountain biking, you know, and one of the first skill you need as a mountain biker is being able to go down stuff.
Mm.
And if the downhill doesn't kick out anybody, it means it's way too easy. And when I was doing my first practice lap, I was following a kid, and he crashed several times on places I didn't knew you could crash, you know, like, and he was like, maybe he was stressed, you know,
Yeah.
but
I'm
to
sorry,
be
I have
honest,
to interrupt you.
yeah.
Need to go quickly in the toilet.
Oh, gros caca.
And we are back. It was a quick pee. So, and what's happening after those kind of like first tests? Is there like a theoretic part, or what's happening, like first aid kind of course, or
I don't know exactly. It's quite wide, and it depends on the school you go. You have 4 exams that are national, but the schools leads you and help you go through those exams different ways. Um, but you have like theoretical courses and practical courses, and it's super wide. Like it can be project management, business plan, things like that, because you could like open a company, open a school, or open something after that. And you have training on bike, like trial, more trial stuff. I don't know exactly. I will tell you in 1 year.
you went to like a business university and you actually graduated
Mm-hmm.
and
Made it.
you made it. Is this actually something you wanna do in the future, like having your own bike school, like develop maybe like old ski resorts to like mountain bike places? Is this something you could see yourself in?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm already started with this, and I have the feeling it's. I have the feeling there is a demand for that, and I also really like that. So I don't know exactly what to do and where to go, but I have in mind that there are some super good ecosystem to build around bikes, included digging good trails, having a nice shop, having a bike school, having facilities, and having it all together in a place, or like helping places get this all together. I don't know. Could be interesting.
This is something where I see like a lot of potential. Like really like go to an old skiing area, like kind of develop a plan which you can like kind of copy and paste
Mm-hmm.
for those old like destinations.
That's interesting, and I kind of agree with that. But the main problem I see is that no problem with this.
No problem.
It will show porn in 47 seconds.
Just the TV.
Now the problem I see with that is it relies on people way
Mhm.
too much, and if you don't have people dedicated enough with that, any plan you can do wouldn't work because of the people.
In Austria, it's really like the old guys who are like on the main positions in those kind of skiing resorts are like, no, we never did it this way, so we keep continuing that way, kind of. And in Austria, we have that saying that the old ones need to kind of die out of their kind of position.
Mm-hmm.
And now we slowly but surely we see an increase in like young people in the management and who are also like riding bikes and like see the opportunities the bike and the like whole tourism with it brings with it. And yeah, slowly but surely it changes in Austria, but it's a fucking slow process.
Yeah, it's the same in France. It's the same in France, and having traveling a bit, I still don't can't believe that France is the first touristic country in the world. Like, we're so bad at hospitality. It's crazy.
But France is number one in tourism.
Yeah, I think so.
But is it because of
Yeah.
you have French
Paris.
Polynesia and stuff?
No, it's
Like-
Paris, it's Chamonix, it's stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, like there are so many people going there.
Probably you
they say
should
so.
start speak English more
That would be
for
a
the
good start.
tourist.
That would be a good start. But no, they're doing super good in tourism. The offer is so poor for me.
Mm. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Hey, it's now in June. There is the Alchemy Jam Volumium. How much? 5?
4.
4.
Mhm.
So, what's gonna happen?
So this year is a bit different because now we have the spot run through our association. Like we made this group, and now it's kind of legal. And
So before, if I got hurt,
we take a wheelbarrow and you're crashed on the street.
okay, beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay.
But we said that. No, yeah, it's
And now with the association, it's better. You have like a
it's
kind of-
better. It's better, and we have an insurance and everything, and we can serve alcohol through the event. We can serve food through the event. Like everything is more dialed. Yeah, and we have no sponsor this year at all for the event because it's shit, and we rather do it on our own than not having great support. And like we have the good group of person to do it, and we can do it on our own now, so it's good. And
You reached out to the sponsors and they all said no, we don't have any budget. Or
yeah, I had to choose. Like last year, I already brought a lot of budget from on my own, like either from my own pocket or from other project that I choose to not do instead of this one. And this year I really had to choose in between shooting a video or doing the event or stuff like that. And since we can do the event on our own, we don't have any sponsor helping us doing this. Instead, I wouldn't do anything else. it's yeah, as simple as that. And yeah, but no, that's the 4th year we are kind of dialed with it. And we have a lot of people now around us to help us. Like we have some super good friends that will do the bar and serve beer, and they're really good at that. So it will be good.
but the alchemy beer you had,
Yeah, we don't have it this year.
but it's strong, eh?
Nah, it
I
was.
had one big bottle and I was.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to drink one big bottle on your own.
Oh, I didn't know that. In Austria, if you get a big bottle, you better drink it.
Yeah. No, it was 5.5 degrees.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's another association. Some friends are running. They are brewing their own beer. And this year they got so much demand that they can't do beer for us. So we'll have different beers, but it will be still good.
The jam is on the
8th, like public day is on the 8th, and we're trying to have everybody on the 8th of June with live music, food, beer, tattoos, good times.
tattoos.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
you can get your taco.
Finally. Finally, I can get a tattoo. Hey, man, thanks for your time. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for your questions.
I have to apologize to the listeners for both of our heavy accents.
No, we don't have accent.
No accent. Yeah, thanks, man. See you at your place again.
See you soon.
See you soon. And
Yeah.
thanks for watching and listening, guys. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Wrap. Gracias.
See.